Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
It's our time! Go on! Get in. Get in.
Get in there.
We won, lads.
Fucking yes.
It's not just a dream.
Unbelievable.
How is everybody? Pete, we'll go to you first. How are you?
Oh, cloud nine. I said to you when I first came on, said absolute cloud nine. Unbelievable result. Unbelievable performance. We're going to get into it. Just unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's the quote of the day. Get that on the back of a jersey. Richie, how are you?
Certainly not plodding.
Yeah.
And Chris, great to see you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Absolutely made up to be back. Couldn't miss the show tonight. Yeah, just unbelievable is the word. Yeah, I know we're going to get into it, but yeah, as Pete said, on cloud nine. Still in a little bit of shock, if I'm honest. But yeah, what a time to be a Newcastle fan.
What a time to be alive. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Let us get into it without further delay, because we have a lot to get through. Right. Let's first go to the team sheets. So you'll notice there was a change for Newcastle. Murphy was off, and into the team came Willock. So that was the start. And Anderson didn't make the bench either. And yeah, I suppose Joe Linton kind of played in Murphy's role, where Willock went back into J7's role, I guess. So yeah, that was the change for us. For Spurs, they had a few changes, but yeah, they can't even afford a proper pitcher for their team. They spend all that money in the stadium, can't even afford that. But anyway, what did you make of our team, lads? Richie, we'll go to you first.
Do you know what? I was really, really impressed with that. We touched on Friday night the away days that we'd probably like to go for as I said, me and Peter told you the week about possibly resting people for the Spurs one, but then I switched it around on Friday night and I says, do you know what? You look at the way that Spurs had played against Man United and you thought, you know what? If you put your full strength side out there, you could get something there. And pretty much that's what we've done. I like the change with Joe Linton coming on for Murphy. You know, Murphy can look and think, do you know what? A little bit unlucky, and I think everyone would agree with that. He's had a good few games in a row. But I think just having that extra legs in the middle with Willock, and then obviously you've got the same on the left with Joe Linton. Obviously, he dropped back quite a lot into the middle and helped out with defence, but he can also help Dan Burn out at left back as well. It just was a masterstroke by Eddie Howe.
Chris, were you surprised Eddie Howe didn't bring on Elliot Anderson when you were calling for him there during the game?
It was funny. I was going, do you know what we could do with Elliot Anderson here? It'd be great. And then I've just said in the private chat to you all, friggin' hell, he wasn't even on the bench.
Yeah.
So that would have been a miracle if he brought Elliot Anderson on. But no, Daz, like, I think I said to you all pre-match, like, I was really surprised by the team. I thought, and obviously, you know, watched away days, I assumed that we were going to put out like a bit of a weaker team, not to kind of, you know, wave the white flag, but just because we've had a big run of game. We've had a lot of games in a short space of time, and I was thinking maybe he's going to rest a couple of players. But when I saw the lineup, I was really, really pleased because, you know, as Eddie Howe always says, and we've not been used to under the likes of Bruce, etc., is that we believe we can win every game. And as soon as I seen the lineup, I thought we're going here to win, and it was really refreshing, really good. I was worried about watching Wilson every time he was closing down,
I was thinking just don't put too much pressure on them hamstrings. Just take it easy, because without Wilson, I think we'd look a completely different team. But yeah, no, I was pleased with the lineup, and I thought we're in for a good match here.
Pete, I'm going to go to you next, and there's a guy in away who always seems to get the lineup wrong, predicting the lineup, but he seemed to have got the score right today. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, you know what? I'll put my hands up. I was wrong. Why did I put Shelby in the starting lineup? Anyway, I got the prediction of the score right. I think I need to watch it back, and if you haven't, you watch it back. But yeah, in terms of the lineup, you know what? That lineup, we've talked about that lineup before as a potential of having Joe on the left. We've talked about it before as a potential. We know he can play there. We did it for Hoffenheim before he came to Newcastle, and yeah, it was probably, and whether you agree with this or not, probably our strongest team to choose from at this moment in time. And yeah, so I was really, really happy with that. Really happy with how we'd set up. Richie had talked about on away days, and we talked about it when we met up on Wednesday about playing that strongest team and just keep playing it. And as long as they're fit in 100%, keep playing it. And it proved absolutely right again. You know what? I was really happy to see Dan Burn in the starting lineup, because there's been that talk: should Target play? Should Burn come off? Is he going to be, is he going to be kind of a liability with pace and all the rest of it? But I'm glad that Eddie Howe persisted with him, and we'll talk about Burn a little bit more later on.
Cool. Let us get into the game. So I go to my trusty notes to talk you through the game, to relive and stop me as always along the way, and we talk on the different talking points. But first half kicked off. Within a minute, Son had a shot after a run, and then a minute after that again, he had another shot and after a counter-attacking movement. So then on 4 minutes, Shah with an unbelievable ball to J7. That was unbelievable. And then Jolinton did fall over. There was the talk, could it potentially be a penalty? It would be very soft, I think, if we got a penalty for that. But that ball, note that for our ratings. And then I'll fast forward on to 10 minutes. Off the line, Son had a shot on where he kind of lobbed it over Pope, and Trivia took it off the line. When I say off the line, it was still a bit to go to the line, but Pope got a hand to it and slowed it down. But it was kind of all them for the first couple of minutes. We thought we were in for a bad day there with Son on looking like he was on fire for those first 10 minutes. Anyone panicking then?
I think I think with Newcastle, because as we said the other day, you're always used to things like this, and you think, when things start to look bright, it might be going against us. But you know what? You're always going to concede chances against people like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, because they're a good side, and they've played with each other for God knows not how many years now, and they've got that chemistry and understanding for each other. So it's all about defending to your maximum as much as you can. And you know what? You are going to ride, when you go away to these places, you are going to ride the wave a bit. First 50 minutes, they played well first 50 minutes, but then we just got our stamp on it, and that was it.
Yep. Fair enough. And I noticed straight away, holy moly, there's 216 people watching us live. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that like button. You'll hear more about that later. Right, move on, fast forward on to 19 minutes, and Dyer with a silly back pass, a right silly back pass as well. We got a corner out of it, and nothing came in the corner though. 22 minutes, Lefion shot, blocked by Trippier. 28 minutes, Kane on the counter attack. Again, another good save by Nick Pope. Remember that for the ratings as well. With his feet this time. Step forward on to 30 minutes, and I just get queuing up some pictures here. What happened again? I just remember Wilson running down Lloris, him getting in a bit of a tangle. Lloris falling to the floor, claiming wanting his free kick. Wilson played on and just lobbed the ball over defenders and keeper, back of the net. Cue the celebration. Why is that a bad picture? I'm not so sure, but here is a little better one. Wilson, goal.
Yeah.
What did you make of that goal, lads?
You know what, Daz? I was gonna tag you in it. I completely forgot when the tweet came out from Newcastle with that one. I was gonna say, Daz, get it ready.
Oh,
Get
I
that
have them all
for
ready.
tonight.
Anyone that scored, I have them ready, lined up.
Love it. The one thing I'll say that you didn't mention is the ball from Fabian
Yeah.
Shaw was
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yes.
Like that ball is it's a ball that you don't expect a centre back to play.
No.
It's as simple as that.
No.
And he's got that in his locker. And it's why, Chris, you've bigged him up for a long time now and said about how good he is. We all have. But he's just shown again why he's playing on another level. And yeah, it's one of them all round. It cannot be not discussed because it creates the opening for Wilson to be in the position. Now, people can argue all day. In my opinion, whether it's a foul or not, fucking no chance that he's not a foul. And you know what? Even if it was a foul, I don't care. I just don't, because what happened after that was just why he's a top striker in the Premier League. Is that finish is not easy. Yes, he's got the whole goal to shoot from, but he's got Dyer right in front of him. He's got literally a few seconds to take a touch and hit it. It's with his left foot. It's not his favoured foot, so he's got to then be able to lift the ball in, and he did it just so comfortably. It's just a top finish from a top striker.
I think what's even more telling about the ball from Shaw was that it was with his weaker foot as well, and to get that flight to perfection. Bear in mind, I think you actually got to say, but both of them, I think it's all down to confidence that's brewing in this team at the minute. You don't try those balls if you're not confident and you've got the belief of everybody around you. And the fact that that's a left foot ball, and it literally just floats over the centre half, and then Wilson runs onto it. And it wasn't a foul, not a cat. You even see him trying to pull up, so he doesn't collide with it. Obviously, Lloris just goes straight up. But then to have that composure, just to have a little look, and then lovely little dick, and again, inch perfection. I think it literally just skimmed Lloris's head as it was going over, because obviously he was outside the box, so couldn't raise his hand, and then obviously sailed it at the back of the net with your wrong foot as well. That just goes to show that the confidence is just brewing through this team, and it was an absolutely exquisite finish.
It was unreal. Chris, your thoughts on that goal?
Yeah, it was funny when obviously it all unfolded, as per usual, screaming at the telly, and I'm going, there's no way that's getting ruled out, no way. And then they started. Well, it was comforting actually, because the commentators were saying they're happy with the challenge. They were happy with the challenge. They were just looking for the handball, and then I thought, well, there's no way they're getting a handball, no way. And then the replay showed it really slow, and it touched touched the top of his shoulder, and it's like. So as soon as the commentator said that, I was like, yeah, we're sound. We're okay. We're absolutely okay. And just to touch back, I know I'm fast forwarding a little bit here, Daz, but you mentioned it before. It was funny when Joe went down in the box again, screaming for it. And then when I watched it back, I was like, do you know what? It's the right decision. It wasn't a penalty. But I thought, to be fair, VAR. They got the big decisions right tonight. I thought they were all right, and we don't say that very often, but I genuinely think they did, because we've seen some really contentious decisions over the weekend. But in our game tonight, I thought they done pretty well, if I'm honest.
No, good shout. Yeah, they did, and we won. That's all that matters. Right, let's continue.
Just before you move on,
yeah,
I want to ask you the question. What do we make of Hugo Lloris falling to ground like a sack of shit?
He was just playing for the free.
Honestly, I just felt it was embarrassing. The way he falls down, like the collision happens, which is natural, but the way he just drops to the ground and expects a free kick, I just thought it was absolutely embarrassing, which probably, in my opinion, in the VAR's mind, the way he falls probably brings it in our favour and makes them make the decision in our favour, because it was so theatrical. Like it just wasn't necessary at all.
He knows he made the clanger, Pete. He knows he made the clanger. He come out, he's missed it, and he's tried to blame Wilson. And Wilson was just stood there.
Yeah.
But did you hear? Did you
He knew
hear Les Ferdinand? He said that okay, like he's also played for Spurs, but he as well as ourselves. But he was saying he was glad that it actually went in the striker's favour. Normally it goes in the keeper's favour, you know. So and that's what I was half expecting it to be ruled out just because of that. It normally goes in the keeper's favour, and it's us. So I was expecting the worst, but absolutely delighted.
Jamie Redknapp though, he was ridiculous. You could just see he had his Spurs hat on all day. Oh, it's definitely a foul. Definitely give foul, man. There was no foul at all in that.
fuming.
There wasn't.
He was fuming. He was because let's face it, if he's not lavishing praise on Tottenham, why do we even need him in the studio? Because he brings nothing to Sky Sports. He was only there because he was an ex-Tottenham player. Like Les Ferdinand was right down the middle. You know, he gave Tottenham praise and said what they did well. Probably clutching at straws because they were shy. But Newcastle, he gave praise rightly, and in those moments gave a level-headed perspective of those decisions. Jamie Redknapp, like you just said, Richie, was completely biased, was absolutely unnecessary there. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's the type of guy that he is. He just doesn't know football for someone that was a professional footballer, in my opinion.
Right, let's fast forward and we'll talk about the player of the season, Mr. Miggy Almiron. On the 40th minute, a header, Lloris kick out, I think, a header from alongside, a good header actually as well. Miggy got the ball, went on the wing really, and he just, I wrote down here, he bet 4 defenders and put it under the keeper. I might be exaggerating there a bit, but it was unreal. He definitely took on 2 or 3 defenders. But yeah, it was, and when he got that far, I was like, no way this is going in. Back of the net, Miggy, goal. There's no stopping him at the moment. Absolutely unreal. What did you make of that? And I said in our chat, Ballon d'Or for Miggy.
I'll kick it off. I was absolutely delighted for them. Like you say, Daz, you know, it wasn't just the finish, which was sublime, by the way. And even though we were all talking, you know, pre-show saying that like we were surprised he didn't pass it because you know there would have been some people kicking off in the box because there was a couple of players free. But it's just the confidence he's got now, and you know when he I think it was the ball came out by Lloris, and then Longstaff did exceptionally well, headed it towards Miggy. Miggy then goes to turn and then go, you know, to drive forwards, and he's got a player behind him, and the players, you know, pulling him and making it uncomfortable for him. And Miggy drives through with his pace that we all know he's got, and you know the work ethic, and he's driving at the Spurs defence, and you can see that they're kind of backing off him a little bit because they don't want to, you know, stick a leg out on him or anything. And then he pulls himself into the corner, gets on his left-hand side, which we all know he loves to do. And as I say, it's a sublime finish, it really, really is. But that's the confidence in him. And I think it was the commentator who said, might have been Carragher, saying like, you know, a few months back, he wouldn't have took that shot on, either passed it or either flapped at it a little bit. But that's the confidence he's in at the minute, and I was absolutely delighted for him because nobody deserves the upturn of luck more than Miggy, because you know we've seen this work rate since day one, haven't we? And he's now adding end product to his game, and he's just on fire, as you lad said, he's absolutely on fire.
Exactly, Chris. And before we go to, we're going to Pete next, but just a reminder, there's 314 people now watching us live, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button. Pete, your thoughts on Miggy's goal?
It was just an outstanding individual goal. Big up to Longstaff, as we mentioned, wins the ball high up, uses that press to our advantage, but then it's all about Miggy at that point. And we were talking off air, me and Richie, we were saying, you know, if it had missed that chance, the people in the middle, you were saying that they would have gone absolutely mental because there were guys in the box, and I thought he was going to pass it. I didn't expect him to shoot, but as they said in the Sky studio, the level of confidence that he's at right now, he's confident in his own abilities, so he gets into that position. I think it's Langley that he leaves for dead, absolutely leaves him for dead. That little, you know, feigns the cut inside, comes in on the inside, goes in on the outside, and then cuts in, and it's like, it's just It's a great finish. And you see, Hugo Lloris doesn't even expect him to shoot. He comes out to kind of cut the angle for that pass across goal. He's not expecting him to just slide it underneath his body. But that's Miggy. You saw Miggy scored not a similar goal, but he scored a goal like that away at Benfica in pre-season, where he just kind of like plays it into that far corner. He knows he can do it. He knows he's got the capabilities. And now what we're seeing is in game, he's realizing that because he's actually doing it. It's just an unbelievable individual goal and fully deserved for a guy that's just playing the best football of his career. Let's be honest, it is.
Oh, he is. He absolutely is. Richie, your thoughts on Miggy's goal?
I think the goals made from, in my opinion, the goals made from Longstaff. His endeavour just to get out there, put the pressure on the. I think was it Sessegnon it was going towards, wasn't it? Off the. To be fair, Lloris had a bit of a nightmare spell for 10 minutes, because it was a stupid ball to play in the first place. But obviously, you've still got to keep that press going, and you've actually got to make something of it, which is what Longstaff did. Because I think they highlighted it in the commentary that said that. I think it was Ferdinand. I mentioned he made. Longstaff makes a run that a lot of midfielders don't want to make, and he made it. And the header was perfect, just straight down to Miggy. But I think what you've got to also look at with Miggy's run is that confidence is so high that he was running with such pace towards Longley. Longley, for an international defender, but getting squared up like that was absolutely diabolical defending. Not that I give a shit that it was diabolical defending. Do you know what I mean? If it was Botman or someone like that, then obviously I'd be playing hell. I know probably Pete would be as well. The coaching is coming out, but no, that pace has got past him. And I thought, he might have to, because it looked like he was going that fast, he might have to cut it back. But that touch once he's around him, where it takes him towards the goal with the left foot, it just opened that shooting angle up, that slight shooting angle up for him. And as we said before we went on air, there was 2 or 3 in the middle who had no one marked, who had a simple tap in, really. It was just as well it did go in. And I think off that shot, the way that Lloris had come out, and as Pete mentioned, he's trying to cut off that ball across the 6-yard box. I don't think he was actually, if he was going to have to square it, he wouldn't have went across that 6-yard box, because he would have been pulling the back more towards the penalty spot. So even that would have took Lloris out of the game. Lloris had just completely committed himself in no man's land, really. And if you look, as Pete said, he wasn't expecting the ball to go under him. And if you look at from the angle from behind the goal, how the ball actually got under him is unbelievable, because there's not much there's not much under him as he's spread himself. But seriously, hell of a finish. And as Pete said, that similar to the Benfica one. But when you've got that confidence, anything can happen. It really, really can. And it's the proof's in the pudding, the way Muggy. To be fair, he mugged the Spurs defense today, no, Miggy's on fire in October, mate. So I think it's not going to be Mitchell's on fire anymore. It's going to be Miggy's on fire.
Yeah, if he doesn't win player of the month or something,
he has to.
Right, that took us to halftime, and we're sitting pretty. There was even potential tears in the Hall household. I won't say from who, but we'll move on. Right, Newcastle started the second half on the attack. Spurs were kind of sitting back. I was surprised at that. I thought they were going to up a gear, but then then on the 51st minute, excellent passing move by Newcastle. It was really like watching Brazil at one stage. But there was an incident then where Joe Linton headed the ball back across the box, and there was a penalty shout, and it went to VAR as well, but wasn't handball. It would be nice to get the penalty, but anyone think that was a penalty first?
100%. 100% is a penalty. I don't know what you boys think of it, but when I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that Dan Burn got a penalty given against him against Brentford at St James's Park for a lot less than that, for a ball that hit his hand and he had no idea about it because it was from behind him. And you've got Joe Linton that's made a brilliant ball, brilliant header back, and it was going back into the middle of the box, and it hits his hand, and it stops the ball from going back in the middle of the box. It's a penalty all day. Like, this is why we get so frustrated about the inconsistencies of VAR and the refereeing. If they can give Dan Burns is a penalty, that is a penalty all day long. And again, with although the VAR's gone for us for the Wilson goal, but rightly so, we've been screwed again because that would have added 3-1 up, and the game would have been over then.
3-0. That's
3-0 up.
Yeah,
3-0.
sorry, we scored, so 3-0. That would have been game done. But I don't know whether you guys think any differently.
I've just been praising VAR. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I was the same as you, Pete. There's two reasons why that's a penalty for me. Is the arm in an unnatural position? Yes, it is, because it's out there. It's not by his side, it's out. And second of all, where's the ball travelling? The ball's travelling into the danger area in the box, and his arm being out has stopped the ball from travelling into that danger area, and that's prevented an opportunity, which is why it's a penalty. And that's as simple as it comes for me. They're the two reasons why it's a penalty, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. If you put the picture back up, Daz, you look at it, that Joe Linton's already off the pitch when he's like, so he's trying to head it back into play. So it's not even always trying to cut the cross out sort of thing. All Joe Linton's trying to do is put it back into the box. Yeah. So he's jumping across like that, trying to cut it out with his foot, but obviously it's come back the other way. So yes, you're jumping, but you still shouldn't have your arm out that far. You know what I mean? It's a 90-degree angle to his body. That's an unnatural position. And then even afterwards, when they were doing the VAR, look at it, and Emerson Royale's going berserk because it did hit his head. It's like, do you actually realise people can see on camera that it actually hits your arm? But yeah, I agree. It was penalty, lads.
Cool. All round was a penalty. We didn't get. Righty up. Move on. Fast forward. 2 minutes later, Spurs have a corner, gets whipped in. Sanchez, they went to VAR this one. Sanchez with touch. Did he touch it? Did he not touch it? Did he glance him? Anyway, Kane got the final touch and put the ball in the back of the net. 2-1. Still in the lead, but getting a bit nervy at the end of that stage. And we want to talk about that Spurs goal. I think you can't say no.
I think the only thing that I think is a main concern for me is obviously there was a lot of height at the front post. You're not always going to win all the aerial duels, but I think the most concerning thing for me is we know how prolific Harry Kane is, and we know he likes to make that move around the back post. The amount of times you see them getting to his knees and heading in the back post that low, I don't understand why you've got Kieran Trippier marking him. It should be, you want one of your stronger centre backs doing that, because obviously you've got a lot of height in the team. So you can put a few of them to the front post in the middle, but you should always be keeping one with Harry Kane, because one, he's good in the air, but he's also lethal around that back post when he's good. That's where I think we lost the goal there. That was the fact that Trippier was marking Kane. Kane's always going to outmuscle Kieran Trippier the back stick, always.
Rich, you're absolutely right. It's all of our big boys got attracted to the ball. That's basically what it is. They all got attracted to winning the header. Whereas if we'd have just been a little bit more, smart about it, let's say, in that position, we'd have dropped one of them back in, whether it was Shaw, whether it's Botman, get Burn and Botman to attack.
Oh, what happened? Where's everyone gone? Someone is playing tricks here. Anyway, I'll carry on. We'll move on to what happened next was 6 minutes. Shar had what happened there, actually, by the way?
So no pouncage. I went just like StreamYard just kicked us all out.
Because I was the one left.
Yeah.
Was I actually talking at that point?
Yeah. Just went.
What is going on?
Oh, I was into the flow of my conversation. And then I realised it just said I got out.
Yeah, it threw us all out apart from Daz, because I went on live and it was only Daz there just talking himself.
I was like, where'd everyone go? Right, go again, Pete.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Richie was absolutely right. What should have happened is, I feel like I'm to repeat myself.
I did not press the button.
You know what it was, Pete? The three big lads there were attracted to the computer, getting kicked off the screen and left Trippier at the back stick by himself. That's Daz. There you go.
Hey, you know what? I was looking around for Martin. I thought Martin had jumped in the chat and was started kicking us all out. So if he did, fair play to him. That was a nice move.
No, it was.
But,
as I was saying, you just kind of all of the big boys got attracted to the ball. We should have had Byrne and Botman attacking the ball, Shaw staying back just to keep in that area because there was a huge gap. From where the ball was flicked on, there was a huge gap that just wasn't taken up. And to be fair, I think it was Royale or is it Royale or Basuma? One of them that flicked the ball on. There wasn't really anybody marking them. And that's like certainly not goal side. And that's just an area we've improved on. We should have improved on, particularly because Tottenham are very, very good at set pieces. I think it came on Sky. They've scored the most goals from set pieces this season. So we should have maybe sort of attacked that one a little bit better. However, I do think it was offside. The first screen, what I saw, the playback, I remember watching it, not thinking about the offside because I didn't know at that point, thinking that whoever had the flick on, whether it was Basuma or Royale, touched the ball. And for some reason, all of the playbacks that we saw after that point weren't as conclusive because of the angles were wrong. And I just felt like they could have looked at it from the initial angle. I just felt he got a touch on it, but it is what it is.
Cool. Let's move on. I'll fly through this last bit then, even though it did not go quick for any of us. Right. 6 minutes, Shard running a shot. 67 minutes, Wilson got a card. 74th minute, Murphy on, Willock off. 83 minutes, yellow card for Pope for time wasting. They did try and delay things nicely, like everybody does. 86 minutes, Dyer had a header wide, but it was offside anyway. 87 minutes, Wilson off, Wood on. We could only bring Wilson off on the 87 minutes. There's no saving him in this game. Bruno off as well, and Shelby on. Good to see Shelby back. And then the linesman put up 15 minutes injury time. Well, it felt like 15 minutes, but it was only 5 minutes. But that was the game. Lads, we won 2-1. Everyone happy, smiles all round, and Eddie Howe embracing there as well, loving it. But what do you make of the result, lads? Chris, we'll go to you first.
Just a fantastic result, really, wasn't it? I mean, I went into this game and I was thinking to myself, if we can get a point here, that'd be fantastic. As you know, I always say, a point away from home is always a point gained, in my opinion. And then when we went 2-0 up, I literally had my head in my hands on the couch and I was just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that we've come to Spurs and we're dominating them, absolutely dominating them. And, I went in at half time and I was just thinking, right, let's get that third and let's end the game. And then obviously Spurs scored. And then it was a bit nervy for the last 10-15 minutes, but I thought we managed the game fantastically. I thought we did really well. The lads didn't look as tired as they did against Everton. I was expecting another tired performance today, and I didn't see that. But we talk all the time, don't we, about unity and about how the lads, are fighting for each other and, playing for each other. And you can see that on the pitch, and you see it even more so at the end. The way everyone's hugging each other, celebrating. The way Eddie Howe set this team up is just absolutely fantastic. We've got players in the team now who were playing under Bruce, and we were saying, need to get them out the door. And every single player on that pitch today was just fantastic. Really, really good. And I'm absolutely amazed up with the results and the fact that we've now crept into the top 4 and we've got some favourable games coming up. It's like what's going to stop us? We've had one defeat all season, and that was in the last minute at Anfield, which we really didn't deserve. So you're looking at the fixtures and you're thinking, when are we going to lose? The confidence is sky high. I'm expecting a bad one, don't get me wrong, and there will be occasions where things don't go our way. But I think when we're getting these results and when we're looking back and reflecting on games, we're never going, oh, we were lucky there, or we could have got done there. We're all working incredibly hard, and the team are all working for each other, and they're really getting that vibe from the fans as well. Like, the fans were fantastic tonight. Just all you could hear was that Bruno song all the way through the game, and we totally outsang the Spurs fans. And Pete, you'll remember from last season when we went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, that was probably the quietest I'd heard from the away fans. But tonight it was just non-stop, even in the rain. It was great.
Yeah, I would agree. It was the reason why I didn't look to really go out my way to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today. Obviously, we've done a couple of games this week, but it was one of them that it wasn't a great atmosphere, an atmosphere that makes you think, wow, I want to go back and experience that. Obviously, we got beat heavily, but for me, like I said it to you. I said it to, I think it was Daz when I first came on, but I tweeted it out earlier. Like, we can go toe to toe with anybody. We've already proven it. Man City, Liverpool, at Anfield. Not many teams go there and really kind of cause them the sort of problems that we did. And we're very unlucky not to get something from that game. If we can go to those teams, Old Trafford, and cause them problems today, unbelievable performance against Tottenham, fully deserved the 3 points. Anything else wouldn't have been deserved for Newcastle. That just shows me that we can go to any ground this season and cause them problems. And I think what that does today, I don't know whether you agree with this or not, what that does today, it makes every team stand up and take notice, but it also demands respect from every team in the Premier League. They now respect us for what we've done this season. Yes, we're only, 11, 12 games in, but we've gone out there and showed that actually we can go toe-to-toe with anyone. We can play football better than anybody else. At one point in the game, we had like 70-something% possession. Like, we were dominating Tottenham. It wasn't like we were sitting in and just hoping for the best and just defending well. We were controlling possession. We were losing the ball within seconds, winning it back, then holding possession for 2 or 3 minutes, keeping the ball side to side. We were dominating teams like Tottenham, like Man City, like Liverpool. Like, if we can do it to those teams, other teams that we go to this season, Southampton, for example, is our next away game. Why can't we go there and do the same? It just shows me that there's a different side to this team. We can go toe-to-toe, football-wise. We can out-battle a team. We can out-press a team. We can outwork a team. We can do everything better than everybody else in the Premier League. We can. But we've just got to be consistent. We have to be consistent. We have to keep doing it. And Eddie Howe said it perfectly. And Callum Wilson said the same in their interviews after the game. We take it game by game. Game by game. We don't get over the top. We can get over the top as fans because we're loving life right now, and deservedly so. But the players can't. And they take game by game. They work their socks off game by game. They outwork, they outplay, they outscore every single team game by game. And let's see where it takes us.
And the other thing to add there is, if we can keep all our players fit and the likes of Bruno comes back to the World Cup in flying as well, we also have Isak and ASM to add to that, and we have Shelby back as well to mix things up as well for rotation and stuff like this. There's no stopping us once we can keep our key players fit, because we don't have, as we've said at the start of the season, we don't have a big enough bench. But hey, as well, that may lead into, I know Eddie Howe has said that they're not going to go massive in the January transfer window, but if they're in or around the Champions League spots, who knows? Who knows what the decision may be taken out of his hands. You're getting these players anyway. Richie, do you want to say anything about the result?
Just a phenomenal result. It really, really was. As we said on Friday night, we expected a few changes originally, but then obviously when you saw Man United play the way they did against Spurs and how average Spurs look, we said that Newcastle could get something with that strongest team, and I think Eddie Howe's probably then thought, you know what, we probably can. We've got a full week to rest up after this, and it's good that he took that chance. We said don't change a winning side. I know it's a lot of people always say that don't change it if it's not broken, sort of thing. And when you read Newcastle's definitely not broken at the minute. It's the whole team's rolling in the same direction. It's just absolutely class. Do you know what I mean? There's times before in the past where even if you want to look back at the Liverpool game, which we were lucky at, there's times where we might not have held on and get 3 points, but we have. And it does actually. It's probably the first result now that we've went toe to toe with Man United, a hard game last week at Old Trafford, got something. We should have got something at Liverpool, at least a point. We could have possibly had more. If you go back into the Isak goal, which would have put you 2-0 up, which to me I still think it was wrongly ruled out for offside. And then you go toe to toe with Man City at home. And there's not many teams can go toe-to-toe with Man City and then come away thinking, what could it be? Could it have been could we held on or whatever and stuff like that? So it's the first time that we can really go into the season. This, as we said on Friday, today was a statement result. It wasn't a free hit like it used to be. We could really put a marker down on this, and that's exactly what Newcastle's done. And some people in the Premier League were starting to take it seriously already, but I think now the fact that I know it's early days, and obviously there's a few teams around who've got games in hand and stuff, but still seeing that league table and it shows at this moment in time we are fourth top. It sends a message. It really, really does.
Yeah. It does, Richie. Sorry, I was just reading a text that Stu Penman had sent me. He says, our back five today cost 5 million less than Harry Maguire. Our midfield cost 6 million less than Casemiro, and our front three cost 5 million less than Anthony.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stu.
Just got to say.
And apologies to anyone that with the StreamYard issue we had earlier. Allegedly, it was Daniel Levy that got in the system, and for some reason he's been pissed off with how things went today. But apologies for that. So, lads, right, we can go in two or three different directions. We can go to ratings, or we can go to the table. What would you like to go to first?
We're gonna go table first, shall we?
Table.
Let's go to the table. Rightio. Here is the table. And I can even zoom it up because we don't really care about anything below us now, do we? So I can even zoom up this much. There we go. There's the table. We're bottom of the top four, but where we've aspirations to go with 3 places higher. But yeah, lads, we are sitting pretty in the top 7, as we said the other day. Look at even Fulham are in the top 7 at this stage. Look how far down Liverpool are. Who did Liverpool play against this weekend?
Forest and lost.
You have to scroll down a bit, Doz.
No, here we go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Forest for that win yesterday. But yeah, that's where we are, sitting pretty in fourth. And we can even bring in our next 3 games into the equation, into this discussion, where we have Villa, Southampton, and Chelsea before the World Cup break. And I know there's a League Cup game against Crystal Palace in there as well. But let's just focus on the Premier League for now. Lads, what are you making of the league table? And our potential points total for the next 3 games?
Well, we're still the best defence in the Premier League, even with conceding today. So that's great to see. 20 goals already scored. Yeah, it just looks so pretty at the moment. You're asking me for the next couple of games. We talked about it before we went live. Villa at home, Southampton away. Target 6 points. Why not? Why not be sitting on 27 points going into the Chelsea game before the World Cup? There's no reason why it can't happen. And, if anyone was to be doubting that, you just have to watch that performance today. And that shows you that the players are more than capable of it.
Oh,
yeah,
good show.
Look, as I said yesterday, before 5 o'clock yesterday in our WhatsApp chat, if Carlsberg did weekends, the Macklin was 2-0 up, lost 4-2 at home. You know what I mean? And then I said, look, Chelsea, Man United draw, and then we get 3 points tomorrow. 4th at the end of the night. If Carlsberg did weekends, there you go. Thank you very much.
Call the season now.
Yeah.
Chris, your thoughts on the league table and our upcoming 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, league table, yeah, it looks very nice, doesn't it? And do you know what though? Taking all things aside, it's fully deserved. We should be up there. Interestingly, Daz, and I haven't had a proper look at the league table. As you can see, we've got loads of draws there, which is probably why we're not, a bit higher to top spots. But interestingly, I find it. I find it slightly worrying. I don't know if anybody else does that. We haven't scored more. I know you can see there, but on 20. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, to be fair, because there is the teams below us have scored less. I mean, Chelsea have only got 16. Man United have only got 16. But yeah, I'd like to see more in those 4 goals. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. And we like I said, then we fully deserve top 4. Looking at the next 2 games, which is Villa at home, Southampton away. I mean, if we can pick up 4 points, even if we can pick up 4 points from that, I think it keeps us in the mix. The Chelsea game will be really interesting. If we get the 6 points, I know Daz is saying 6 points there. If we get 6 points going into that Chelsea game, Chelsea will not fancy playing us. And this is what we've been saying all season, lads. Every team that we play against now will think, oh, Newcastle. Whereas previously it was like, oh, great, we're playing Newcastle, we should be able to roll them over. We used to go 1-0 down and the game was done. We used to just try and hang on to a 0-0 and hope that we could nick a goal. But now we're front foot. We're actively pressing teams, and we're pressing teams, by the way, for the full 90 minutes. It's not just for periods. We're doing it all game. So no team will look forward to playing us. No team. And yeah, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling very confident as well going into the Villa game this weekend, because Villa got a fantastic result, 4-0 tonight, I believe. That won't happen again. I fancy us big time now against Villa the weekend.
You're right, Chris. We used to do a lot of things. We used to even give away half our season tickets. No,
yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
That'll never happen again.
Definitely not.
Right, and anyone else who looks at the glass half empty, or rather than half full, we are 19 points from safety. Another 19 points, and we'll be on 40 points. But yeah, let us move on from the table. We're all delighted with the table and as it stands, and we have the potential to go to go even better. So the next 3 league games, let's see how they unfold. Right. This is the bit that a lot of people look forward to. Let's go to the ratings.
It's easy. It's easy, Daz. You don't even need to do your points on. Just put the league table back up again. Show the lads the goal difference, and that's what every single player gets tonight. Simple.
No, Richie, where's the fun in that? There's no decimal points in that. Sorry, Mick.
You realise we want to keep viewers tonight, Daz. We want to keep viewers. We don't want these 0.26719.
Speaking of viewers, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Do the right thing and hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you'd like to become a member, like a few people did recently, make sure you do. And shout out to all our members as well. Right, let us get into the ratings.
Yes,
there he is.
That was Pete. I reckon it's Pete. I seen his grid.
You know what? I was going to say, Chris, you know what to do, but I know you're going through the chat, so I just thought, you know what? Why not? Why not?
Love it. Love it.
Love it. Right. Start with an easy one. Nick Pope. He had the save from Son early on in the game. He had the... Yeah, I wrote down my notes. He made a save from Pope, so he can even save shot from himself. It was actually from Kane, that one. So ignore my notes. Yeah, so he's getting a 9 from me, Nick Pope.
Yeah, outstanding. 9.5. Outstanding performance. Nothing you can do about the goal. So I'm not even going to put that against him. But the way he swept, the way he collected, I loved the time wasted. Loved it. Loved it. To the point where he was doing it even just after he was booked. I was thinking, please don't get sick. Because he was literally doing it again, and he was winding up the players. And the fact even Kane was going to collect the ball and put it down for him, and then he was picking it up and wasting time. I loved it. But yeah, didn't put a foot wrong. 9.5.
9.5 for Popey. Right, Richie, Popey.
10.
10. You're going to go 10 across the board.
You've got to look those 2 saves in the first 15 minutes. they're world class saves. Full stop. Everyone turns around and says goalkeepers are good with their feet, as in a sweeper. We've got a goalkeeper that's good with his feet, as in saves as well. He makes himself so big, and to be fair, if he hadn't had that foot there, it was in the bottom corner. But then again, I was gonna do what that Dar said, give a 9. But then Pete just reminded us of that little through ball that came at the end in stoppage time, where he caught it and just there's a magnet attached to the ball and the floor. I'll just go and keep it warm, sort of thing. And then he just sat there. You can see Harry Kane get even more pissed off at the fact that he's seeing good teammates taking the piss out of him. And he just thought, that's your 10.
The Tottenham fans though in the back, when he did it, he went to go, man, I was pissing myself laughing.
Yeah, it was class. I had to give him the extra 1 just because of that.
Chris, Popey.
Fantastic in the middle of our goal. Not really much else to say. No, I'm gonna give, but I'm giving this score because I'm thinking of others. So I'm gonna give Pope a 9.5. I think Pete's spot on with that. Yeah, so I'll say 9.5.
9.5. Right up. Let's move on to Trips. I'm giving Trips an 8.5. Solid as always, a leader. And Sessegnon was trying to put him under pressure, but he dealt with it at various times as well. But yeah, 8.5 for Trips for me.
Go on, Richie.
I'm going to give Trips a 9. He would have got a 10 as well, but unfortunately, that leadership wasn't quite there to get that defense organised to make sure that they had someone bigger on Kane at the back stick. That was the only reason.
I've gone 9.7. I'm going to follow Daz today. 9.7. I thought he performed slightly better to get a better rating than Pope. You know what? I thought that was one of Trippier's best performances today on the pitch. I thought he was brilliant. I thought his linking play. He's come up against players like Son and Sessegnon that are fast, quick, pacey, like to get down the wing. He gave them absolutely nothing today, and his support for Almiron was brilliant. Little connections inside the little triangles, superb. One of his best performances for Newcastle. Really, really good performance at a tough ground. You could tell he was going back to his old place because he was bang up for it. Very, very good.
Just a note to Pete, the ratings go from 1 to 10. They don't just start at 9 and end at 10. Because the last 2 shows, the ratings, your ratings are between 9 and 10. But I like it. We long may it continue.
I'm just following in your footsteps, Dad. What else can I do?
Now I can see why Jordy Mick is getting frustrated now. Richie, your call. Rating. Oh, you give your rating already, did you?
Richie was first.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chris then. Chris.
No, I tend to agree with Pete on this. I'm going to say 9.5. I'll put him in the same bracket as Pope. But I did think it was one of his better games today. I thought Kid and Trippier was everywhere. Proper captain's performance. You know what? I need to start recording these and just press and play every time you ask me about Kid and Trippier, because that's all I ever say. Like he's so integral to what we do. He's a man mountain, even though he's only a little lad, but he's absolutely great. Like probably you could argue our most important signing, first signing of the new era, and probably the most important signing of the new era. Just wonderful. I don't want to spend the next 5, 6, 7 minutes talking about him because there's not really much else I can say. I just think he's fantastic. Do
you know what you can say to back up everything that we've said about Trippier? If you obviously a lot of us do the Premier League fantasy. Okay, yes. He's the highest rated Premier League defender. No, he's the highest. He's the highest.
Oh,
now.
Is he not? I thought Cancelo was.
No.
Or maybe he's Trippier
is the highest defender.
Not surprised, Rich. Not surprised.
Right. Let's move on to the centre back pairing of Superman and Batman. That is what I'm calling them anymore. But okay. Shar for me, the ball to Joe Linton at the start of the game. I wrote it down in my notes. I knew I wrote it somewhere. It was the ball to Wilson for the goal, and just this is Shar now we're talking about the job he did on Son, even though because it was seemed to be kind of Shar marking Son and Botman marking Kane. But I'm giving Shar a 9.75.
Shaw.
There you go, Richie.
Oh, go on. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Oh,
Richard.
go pick you, so you already started, mate.
No, I was going to say Shaw, 9.8. He's fucking brilliant. Brilliant. Very, very close to being man of the match. No doubt about it. So good.
£3.5 million, Pete.
Yeah, honestly, someone else mentioned that the other day.
Yeah, I mentioned it on the night, yeah.
Yeah, you did. £3 million, like just unbelievable. But his play today, he had Kane in his pocket, he had Son in his pocket. The blocks, the positioning, everything was just spot on. He's just taken that performance from Old Trafford into the game against Everton and then back into that game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He's just Mr. Consistent at the moment and fully deserves all the praise that he gets. Brilliant performance, 9.8.
9.8. Chris. Sure.
Again, I'll keep it short and sweet. I just think Fabian Schär is just the man. I just think he's absolutely great. I'm gonna give him a 9.5. But yeah, he's just unreal. Like that pass, I know we spoke about it before. That pass was literally like mouth-watering. It was just, it was unbelievable. Nobody spotted it bar Joe Linton. It was that good. The whole defense, you could see the whole Spurs defense just like shit. Like it was just a fantastic pass. And yeah, taken away from that for a minute, it's just overall display was fantastic. Defensively, he's great. He comes out with the ball wonderfully. There's nothing he can't do. I just think he's awesome.
Superman. That's why he's Superman. Yeah. Richie. Sure.
I'm going to break the mold here, actually, lads, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to give you the ratings for Shaw and Botman because the reasons are both the same, okay? And for me, both of them deserve a 10. The aerial duels they won were fantastic. The position was spot on. They both kept, as Pete mentioned already, they both kept Son and Kane in their back pocket the whole way through. The distribution from the back was phenomenal. And I'm talking not just as per normal with the strongest foot, both of them were spraying it around with the weaker foot, sharded for the goal, but Botman was doing it with his right foot, and he was like, you pretty much in like the nearly the left back position when he's, when Bird's right on the touchline. And then he's just sprayed it right across to Miggy on the other side, and you just it's seriously, it's just absolutely exquisite to watch. And I still don't think, apart from that 15-minute spell, we weren't really tested defensively. Where you're fighting, struggling or anything like that, and then they're still making they're trying to put thread through balls through, and you can there's Shaw, there's Botman slide and putting the ball out towards the fullbacks, or they're putting it in the stand where you can regroup again. It was just absolute majestic defending between those two, and both of them get a 10 for me.
There's only 10s in the Story household tonight.
No, I give Trippier a 9.
I know. But there's a lot of 10s, isn't it? Right. I'll give him a Botman score. I'm giving Botman 9.5. I always try and differentiate between Char and Botman, so I'm giving I kind of alternate it really, week on game on game. But yeah, 9.5 for Botman. Pete, thoughts on Botman?
Yeah, absolutely equal to Fabian Shaw. So I'm going to go 9.7 again. Fully deserved. Sky even talked about him today. It says they've picked up on him finally.
Took them a while.
It took him long enough. We knew it before he even stepped foot on the pitch. How good he was going to be. The boy is a world beater. It's as simple as that. Again, he's come off that pitch at 95 minutes, barely even broken a sweat. Won pretty much every header. Kane in his pocket, Son in his pocket. Just didn't look phased by anything. There's a reason why strikers are now coming away from Botman very quickly and trying to go on to Shaw, and Shaw is equally as good, is because they don't want none of it. What I loved about Botman today, and he showed it against Everton when I said on the reaction for that, is that, yes, we know he's good on the ball. We know he's good. As Richie said quite rightly, there was a couple of long ball sprays with his right foot. We know he's good with both feet. But what I loved about him today is that his battle, his physicality, That's the side that you want to see in the Premier League. That's what you want to see to know whether you're a top centre back against top strikers or not. Virgil van Dijk does it all the time. He's great speed, great on the ball. But what you love about Van Dijk is his physicality. You don't let anybody get the better of him. Sven Botman, in my opinion, right now at 22 years old, is equal to Van Dijk with his physicality. He's physically just big, strong. You can't beat him. You just cannot beat him. And if you're lucky enough to win the first ball, he wins the second. And he did it all game, 95 minutes. Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in Premier League history, top striker this season, scored plenty of goals, made him look average today. Harry Kane, yes, he scored, but he looked average. Ivan Toney, average. Mitrovic, average. The only one he struggled against even slightly was Haaland, and Haaland's fucking. He's the Terminator. He's a freak.
And to be fair, Pete, that was his first full game, and it was his home debut. There was a lot of pressure on the lad as well.
Yeah.
Even then though, he got so many wins against Haaland, so many wins.
Look what he did against Calvert-Lewin, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even bring up Calvert-Lewin because Calvert-Lewin did nothing. Did absolutely nothing.
Didn't get a sniff.
We keep saying that Sven Botman's a Rolls Royce. He's better than that. He's better than that. He is the real deal. He's the real deal. He is the here and now. We talk about what he's going to be like in 10 years' time. He is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League right now. No doubt about it.
Did anybody hear what Jamie Redknapp said after the game? I don't know if he was still watching after. But he turned around and he went, "This lad is 22 years old. He is going to be phenomenal." And he said that this guy is the next big centre back.
There's no surprise that he's been, with all the debacle about him pulling out of the Dutch under-21s and how it was going to affect his future, and then all of a sudden he's picked for the full Dutch squad. You can't ignore how good he's been. If you ignore, as an international manager, how good Sven Botman's been, you're not doing your job right, because he's outperforming every single Dutch centre-back, Virgil van Dijk included. He's outperforming him this season. The guy's 22 years old. It's his first time playing in England, in the best league in the world, and he's already in the top 3 centre-back performers in this season. The guy is unbelievable. Because I can't separate them. They both were outstanding in very, very different ways. Botman for his physicality, Shaw for his attacking ability and his quality on the ball. Just together, they are just the perfect partnership. They are perfect for each other. I don't think I've seen a better perfect partnership for Newcastle United in my history supporting the club.
Not centre-backs, not at the same time, Pete. Not at the same time.
No. As a partnership, I've not seen anything better. I haven't.
No, I think we've had lots of different ones who have been like that. Centre-backs have been good, but not together. But just to touch on what you say about Van Dijk, Van Dijk is being very, very average this year. I don't know if anybody actually saw the Forest game yesterday, but he missed an absolute sitter in the first half where he had an open goal and he decided to head it back across the goal. I think that just goes to show what we said at the start. We said at the start of the show. It's amazing what confidence can do. And things like that, when you've only got the keeper to beat from 4 yards out, and you decide to square it.
But even defensively, Richie,
he's
Van Dijk's positioning is all over the place, Now, you look at Van Dijk, and you're coming into a position of power. You're coming from Southampton and going up. Sven Botman you could argue, is going from Lille to Newcastle when he first comes to the club, because Lille were performing better than Newcastle were. He's then come across and just gone bang. First season in the Premier League. Unbelievable. I can't explain how much I love this guy. He's got everything to be the best centre-back in the world. And I'm saying that and I'm putting it out there and I don't care. He has all of the attributes to be the best centre-back in the world. And look, 32 million. Jamie Redknapp also said that in the chat on Sky. You know what, Yano? He's better than Woodgate. He's already outperforming Woodgate. Woodgate was sensational for us. But Sven Botman is outperforming Woodgate on so many levels. So many levels. And I loved Jonathan Woodgate. He transformed our team under Sir Bobby Robson. He really did. But Sven Botman is just doing something so much more, so much greater, so much better. And I just love that we paid 32 million for him. If we were, and we're not, by the way, if we were to sell Sven Botman now to any club at the elite level of European football, he would not leave Newcastle United for anything more than a world record fee. He's a world record fee defender right now, and he's only played for us for 12 games.
I think you're talking Grealish money there, Pete.
Yeah, you are. We don't need to sell him, but we won't be selling him. Top level performing centre back in the Premier League at 22 years old. There is no much more praise that we can give him. And you know what? Because it's Newcastle United, the media are not kind of talking about him enough. And to a certain extent, I don't mind that. But for me, I love the guy. Look, I could talk about him all day because he's that good. And we talked about him on a Fully Loaded Transfer show back in December 2021. That's how long we as a channel have bigged up Sven Botman.
What's that, Pete? Chris, thoughts on Botman?
Yeah, so I give Fabian Schär a 9.5 and I give Sven Botman a 10. I thought Sven Botman was unreal. And, by the way, boys, which I thought was interesting, I was waiting for someone else to bring this up. Sven Botman's human. He actually misplaced a pass. I don't know if you saw it. It was funny because
kick him out. He's down in the show. Kick him out.
When I was on Twitter earlier, someone else picked it up and was like, "That's the first misplaced pass we've seen him do since he's played." Or like when he misplaced it, everyone was like, "Fuck, he's given the ball away," but didn't let it affect him. Carried on as he was. But I always forgive players for doing stuff like that because Fabian Schär's exactly the same, because he takes the risk, he makes us forward thinking, and there will be occasions, when he misplaces a pass, but like to think that's the first one that all of us can remember he's done. And Pete touched on it earlier. Did you see that moment where Kane was running? He was attempting to run down the channel and Botman just went, "Nope, see ya," put him on his arse and then just give the ball. And I just thought that's our centre back. That's our centre back. He just come in like a big brick house and just literally push Kane to one side and then give the ball nice and simple. He always, with Botman, he always seems to make the right decision. Always. Like I say, there was one misplaced pass today. And the fact that we've been used to such a high quality standard all the time. But what I liked was he didn't let it affect him. He just carried on playing his game, and Pete's absolutely right. He's outperforming Van Dijk at the minute. I watched the back end of the Forest game. Van Dijk looked really uncomfortable, really, really, really uncomfortable. But yeah, Stu Penman said the other day actually, which is absolutely right. He was like, "Imagine if we had Jonathan Woodgate with Sven Botman at the back, like them two." But I feel a bit harsh saying that. I feel a bit dirty saying that because of Fabian Schär, because Fabian Schär's been equally impressive. Yeah. So short answer, Botman's a 10.
No, good shout, Chris. And can I just go on record as well that if we qualify for the Champions League and Spurs don't, I don't want Harry Kane rocking up at Newcastle. I just don't. I want us to get a young up and coming striker. Well, we have Isaac already, and we would need to strengthen and offload Chris Wood for sure. Anyway, let us move on. We are going to this man. And actually, we're not. We're going to Burn next. I always miss Burn for some reason when I'm going to this. Burn. Burn is getting an 8.5 from me. I give him the same mark I give to Trippier. Did nothing wrong. It was solid. I did like the way that when the kind of Botman and Byrne were kind of covering for each other as well. Like if someone goes to someone on the wing, that Byrne would if Botman goes to someone on the wing, that Byrne would step into the centre back position. So that partnership is working well as well across that back four. But 8.5 for me for Dan Byrne. Chris.
I always feel harsh on Dan Burn because he always gets the worst score of all the defenders and the goalie. But like, I'm not having a go at Dan Burn because I thought Dan Burn did really well today. Yeah. Like the best compliment I can pay Dan Burn is that he's playing in an unnatural position for him. I know he can play left back, and he's played left back for Brighton, but it isn't his natural position. And today, I can't actually recall ever thinking, we made a mistake there. We don't know. So the best compliment I can give him is that he kind of went unnoticed for me, and that's what you want your defenders to do. He's obviously doing his job really well. I'm gonna give Dan Burn a 9. I think he was sound. I think him and Trippier were at similar level. So yeah, I'm gonna give Dan Burn a 9.
Oh, cool. We might go to you next, Richie.
Got no choice, haven't you, really? Unless you can move on. Do you know what? Excuse me. I'm probably going to give him a same as Trippier, a 9. I thought he was solid enough. As you said, Chris said, they understand between him and Botman that if one goes, one can cover, and when they're doing the press, they'll have to need to go out and meet one of the attackers or the winger. It's good. They understand that they've built up a good relationship there on that. I think the only reason why, and obviously this is where Daz is going to start chuckling, because I know he's been going out for the last week going, he's going to get caught out pace-wise. I thought in the first 15 minutes, I was thinking, it might come back to hot. He looked, there's a couple of times he looked as though he was going to get outdone in the first half. But no, I just it was a good, solid performance by him. It wasn't to the bottom, and it wasn't, as people have said in the chat, it wasn't to the same level as the Rolls Royce and the Maybach. That's it, simple.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pete, I thought you had gone to the shop to buy more brandy, but welcome back anyway. You were talking about Big Dan Burn and your rating for the Man Mountain.
Brilliant. You know what? There's been so much controversy over Dan Burn about him playing left back across all of social media for Newcastle. He's just proved again why he should be starting. He's outperforming Matty Target comfortably. He's so good. I thought he was brilliant again today. Thought he was so good today. For a team that were very, very good on the counter attack. He was just fast paced. He dealt with everything defensively so well. Wins everything in the air as he does, but he's linking the play really well going forward. He allows Joe Linton or whoever plays on the left to get forward. For me, I gave him a 9.5, and it just begs the question: with the way he's performing, I had an article for our channel on BBC Sport, and I said he should be considered as the wild card for the World Cup. And they do. Name me a better performing English centre back or left back for that matter in the Premier League.
Who's playing? That's what I was saying before. He's in an unnatural position. We know he's played there for Brighton before, but he's in an unnatural position and he's still bossing it.
Yeah. Let's go through them. Harry Maguire not playing. John Stones been injured, only just back in training, not played for weeks. You got Kyle Walker in and out the squad, doing all right, but he's a right-sided. Chilwell, okay. Who else is there? Left-sided. Luke Shaw, okay. For me, as a centre-back, there's no better. For me, there's no better. He's a shoo-in. He should be getting into the World Cup squad. Performing better than Cody, performing better than Tarkowski. He's a shoo-in.
Unless you're Martin Keown.
Yeah,
that was stupid. That it really was.
I didn't hear what he said, but I don't.
He said that Cody and Tarkowski should be going to the World Cup because there's no better English centre half playing better than those two at the minute.
Just want to interrupt and just say hello to our former sponsor Simon, who's in the chat. And Simon, if you would, I'm going to send you a voucher to give to your wife to go to Specsavers. Specsavers is where you'll be taking your wife tomorrow, Simon. For those comments, right? Let's move on. Let's go to
Daz. Actually, I've actually got to give it a shout out to Marlon from who joined us on Weird Days. He's turned it tonight.
Well done.
Yeah. He said it was probably a meltdown by the Spurs fans, but he knew that he would be able to take another chin if it was they didn't get anything from the game. And sure enough, he's popped on. He showed out the class of the man he was. I said we thought it was a fantastic guest when we had him on Friday night. One of the best we've had on the channel. So Much appreciate that, Marlon, and we'll look forward to the return show.
Nice one. And I was listening to that show just right before the game. Actually, I was listening to Spotify. I was in the car on my way back right before the game. So yeah, great show. And Marlon was a great guest. And I know he got loads of rave reviews as well. So nice one for that. Let's move on. Let us go to Bruno. Bruno, the man who's just become a father as well. And shout out to his son. Here he is, Mario. And I think Bruno said in the comments, the interview afterwards, that he has had 2 sleepless nights. So and yet he that doesn't stop him playing with us today. He turned up and put in a great performance for us today. And again, everything went through Bruno today. And he showed his strength, and like when he's on the ground as well, winning the ball back or putting in those tackles or breaking down play. Bruno, I'm going to give him an 8.75 for Bruno. Pete.
Bruno Guimaraes, Jesus Christ. 9.6. He's got to be a little bit higher than 9.5 for me. The guy was unbelievable. You know, as he talked about, no sleep for 2 days, just had the birth of his newborn child, travelled separately to everyone in the squad to get there for the game, to be part of the game today. Eddie Howe confirmed that in his press conference. Travelled separately to make sure he got here to play this game today, and he talked about it in his press conference or his interview with Callum Wilson. We just didn't want to be away from the lads. He loves everything about what we're doing at the moment. For me, he put a performance in. He was the best centre midfielder on the pitch. Best centre midfielder on the pitch. He just controlled the game like it was nothing. Bentancur played for Juventus, top centre midfielder. Made him look average. Wasn't even in the game. Forgot at times he was even playing. That's how much he had. That's how good he was. Unbelievable performance. Bear in mind the circumstances.
Sorry, I just jumped in the chat to tackle Simon. Richie, we'll go to you next.
Joe, I'm going to rate everything that piece just said. I'm just going to simply raise the rating to a 10. If you could do that after 2 sleepless nights and boss a midfield, which we said on the Friday show, the midfield battle was what was going to win that game. You know, we got a big boost by the fact that Højbjerg was missing. You know, Pete, we mentioned it on Friday. Pete mentioned it in the WhatsApp chat before the game. That was good. That was huge. The fact that Romero and Højbjerg was missing, but to have no sleep pretty much for 48 hours, come in, boss that midfield the way he did, and then I'm surprised he had the energy to walk off the way he did at the end. He looked absolutely pagged. But seriously, no, I've got to raise it to a 10. You can't have a performance like that and not give him a 10.
Nice one, and it looks effortless as well. He's just there chewing on the chewing gum as well as he gets knocked to the floor. He's just chewing on the way on the chewing gum. But
I'm surprised the supply of Wrigley's airwaves haven't gone up in the northeast. Everyone seems to do everything else that Bruno's doing. So I'm surprised that you can't get any airwaves in the northeast at the minute.
Chris, Bruno.
Yeah, I didn't realise he'd had like 2 sleepless nights, and he still performs like that. I actually thought that Basuma had a really good game, and he had that battle with Basuma, but he matched him and then went ahead of him. I thought Bruno was outstanding, so I'm going to give him a 9.5. And I think like we all said earlier in the chat, it was a relief when we saw the picture. Saying that that normally indicates he's going to start. So I was delighted when I seen that picture, and I think everyone would have understood if he didn't start. But the fact that he's travelled separately, the fact that he wants to play, that's the kind of dressing room that Eddie Howe's created, and what the fans have created. He wants to perform in front of the fans, and says it all about the fella. Really, just thought he was superb today. So 9.5 from me.
And the next comment you come to, yes, Michelle, I shall meet you in the Rovers, right? The Rovers return, I presume.
Just to say that Jordy Two says the other chewing gum brands are available.
It's true.
Allegedly. Nice one. Right.
I do love an Airways, to be fair. A Cherry Airways. I do love a Cherry Airways. They are the one.
There you go. You know what to get. We all know what to get people.
Help you breathing as well. Help you breathing when you're training and when you're running. So, Bruno Guimaraes, thank me later.
Just the equivalent of having Vicks on your chest, basically, in a Pete, really.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
There we go. We'll move on. Let's go to Longstaff. Longstaff again running, and he won the header that led to Mee's goal. Like he's been ever present this season. I'm going to give him a 9. Well done, Sean Longstaff. Doing the business week on, week out. We'd always talk about Bruno, big up Bruno, but fair play to Longstaff as well.
Super. Thought he was very, very good. I think there was one time he gave the ball away in the first half cheaply, and it was a little bit frustrating, but he certainly pulled that back in. You know what? And I said this after the Wolves game, and I said I think it might have been after the Man United game as well. The amount of recoveries that he does for the team, it just doesn't get spoken about enough. In that sitting role, the amount of times he recovers possession, the amount of times he covers a centre-back or a full-back that's pushing forward, and he just does that job for the team just without thinking. Sky talked about it today. He covers more ground than anybody else on the pitch, and he has done this season for Newcastle. Covers more ground than anybody else. We think about how hard Bruno works, Joe Linton, Miggy Almiron. Sean Longstaff covers more ground than anybody else. He works his socks off for the team. He might not have the passing ability or the star quality of other players, but I can really start to see how he is fitted into this team. And I think John Joe Shelby is going to find it difficult to get himself back in because of the way in which Sean Longstaff works. He might not be of the ability of the other players, but his work rate makes up for it, particularly in games like today. Away from home against a tough opposition, he does what's needed for the team, and he just keeps possession ticking over. Really, really very, very good performance today. 9.5 for me. His highest rating I've given him all season, and it's fully deserved.
Good call, Pete. Chris, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, totally agree. That was one of the better Sean Longstaff performances we've seen. I think he fully deserves a 9.5, like Bruno. He was everywhere today, and like I said earlier, he effectively made that Miggy goal. He stretches back, header, straight to Miggy. Miggy goes off. I thought Sean Longstaff was really, really good, and I think he's probably been. Someone in the chat said it, and I've responded to it earlier, saying that he goes unnoticed, Sean Longstaff, and he probably does. Sean Longstaff predominantly is probably a number 10, maybe a number 8, and he's playing as a number 6, and he's doing it really, really well. And I think he's benefiting now from this run of games. He's got Eddie Howe, basically putting an arm around him, saying, we believe in you. And this run of games is doing him the world of good. As Pete said, he's got a fantastic engine. He's up and down, and he's really, really playing well. And he's allowing the likes of Willock, Bruno, J7 to kind of go up and do what they do. He's quietly just getting on with things. And we're starting to see the best of Sean Longstaff now. So 9.5 from me.
Nope. Good shout. Richie, Sean Longstaff.
Do you know what? It's a tough one for me because I thought he had an absolutely phenomenal game. And it's like what Chris mentioned. So he sometimes goes under the radar compared to to Bruno and to Joe Linton. Do you know what? I might have to break my rule of giving only full marks. You know what I mean? It's one of those.
Oh, hang on. So wait a second. Hang on, Richie. Go on. Are you going to go decimal?
I might have to for this one, but I'm only going to go to the half, and I'm going to give him a 9.5.
It happened. Remember where you were when it happened.
He's got it.
Do you know what? I don't think he was the same level as Bruno. He was a 10, but at the same time, I don't think he was as bad as a 9. If I'm honest, and I think that's the only way I have to give him the extra half, because that even that run alone, for the fact that he ran out to get Sessegnon and win that ball back. That is the difference. That was what made the second goal. If he hadn't done that, it could have been a completely different game for all we know. So,
yeah, good. Well, I mean, let's move on. Let's go to.
Sorry, guys. Just before we move on, I completely forgot that it's now. I'm changing my score with Longstaff. I gave him a 9.5. I'm changing it to a 9.7. And the reason being, is because, I'm being serious. The reason being is because it's actually recorded as an assist for his header from
Yeah.
Miggy.
It will be. It will
I
be.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a great win back
Yeah.
of possession,
Yeah.
but didn't realize that. Like just when I was talking, that obviously Miggy then ran on and then scored the goal himself. So it's actually, I've just checked. It's registered as an assist. 9.7. Top.
And-
Sorry.
Just to clear something up for Russ as well. It will be the only decimal place I give this year.
we're going to hold you on that.
Can we pin that?
We clip it.
Yeah.
We clip that.
I tell you what, if I give another half, I tell you what, this is going to go to Daz's territory. If I give another decimal point one, right, I'll get the pi symbol tattooed on my arse. There you go.
Pi
What?
Well, I always take the piss out of
The whole
Daz
lot.
and his pi
The whole
decimal.
lot has.
No, I said the pi.
everyone.
I said the pi symbol. The symbol.
Everyone.
Not
Oh,
the,
just the symbol.
Who's thinking? Who's
Seriously,
thinking-
Chris, you know what? I know I've got a big arse, you know what I mean? But the fact that I don't think I still get
Something like
full pie on it, you know what I mean? Oh, wait. Jesus
Who's
Christ.
thinking right now that he's already got the pi symbol on his arse already?
Yeah.
Come on, let's be honest.
Get
Who's thinking
it
he's
out.
already got it on there? It's an easy way.
If I did that, all you'd see is wow.
No. There's too much information for me. It's information overload. I think we should move on. I don't know what I was going to say before that, but we'll carry on. Let's go to Willock. Willock is up next. I'm giving Willock I'm going to give him an 8.25.
Yeah. 9 for me, Willock. Good performance. Good performance today. Played really well. Maybe not as standout as others. Worked his socks off. We're just seeing an improved Joe Willock. We are. He's really, really good. What I would have loved to have seen of him today a little bit more is travelling with the ball, because people can't get the ball off him when he travels and he just gets the ball. He did it against Everton really well. Gets the ball and just runs at players. But he looked tired today. I don't know whether his illness is catching up with him, but he looked tired today. He played really well though. So I give him a 9.
9. Right, Chris, thoughts on Willock?
Yeah, I give Willock a 9. I thought he was everywhere. I thought he played, tried really hard today. Yeah, I think I'm going to say 9 because I think he was probably of the three, the weakest of the three. Like I wouldn't put him on 9.5 with Sean or Bruno, but hey, I'm still giving him a 9. Do you know what I mean? I think he deserved the 9, and he is everywhere, Willock. So yeah, he's really starting to find a place in that midfield now, which is great. So yeah, 9 for me for Willock.
Excellent. Richie?
Yeah, I'll reiterate what they've both said. I'll give him a 9 as well. I think he started to tire a little bit towards the end. I think that's just obviously we know he's been suffering from a viral infection at the start of the week and stuff like that. You know, he's put his shift in there and perhaps just needed to come off because he's obviously body's still recovering from that. So yeah, 9 for me.
9 from you. Right, let's move it on. Let's go to Miggy. What a goal, what a performance. Running as always, defending. For me, Miggy gets a 10. Pete?
Yeah, 10. It's all right. Adam P's video of getting the fans chanting is on social media. It's fucking brilliant from the away end at half time, I think it is. It just popped up. Miggy, 10. Outstanding. Again, proving the doubters wrong. Back to back performances from Miggy, and just showing everybody, including Jack Grealish, that he's more than capable of playing at the top end of the Premier League, which, to be fair, a year ago we questioned, is he able to play at the top end of the Premier League? We questioned it 6 months ago. Could he play at the top end of the Premier League when Newcastle were looking to go? He's answered those doubters. He's proven us wrong week in, week out. And he's top scorer of Newcastle United and fully deserved. Outstanding finish, but you know what? It's the stuff that we've come to be accustomed with Miguel Almiron, his work rate, his ability to press high up the pitch, his links with Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Trippier, He just makes the game tick. You know what? When we have our full strength team, last season, everything was played down the left because of Alan St-Maximin. But even when Alan St-Maximin was fit, everything got played down the right-hand side because he just creates a link down that side that is so devastating, and it just destroys teams time and time again. He continues to prove everybody wrong. So yeah, 10 for me. Top performance.
Nice one, Pete. And I see that I think Rich, you've a comment up there for Arsenal for life.
Yeah,
Not looking forward to playing us.
they've been in the chat saying thank you very much, Newcastle. Obviously, they must have forgotten about our last home game this season last year. But obviously, they've also have commented saying that they are not looking forward to playing us this season.
No one will be. No one will be.
No, but just while we're on Miggy, because I'm going to keep my little slots simple. I'll just say 10. Everything that Pete said, his consistency, his work rate, fantastic. But I'm going to throw a little spanner in here on this one. I'll go off Rich Joblin's question, because for me, this raises the thing. Bear in mind, the person who's really helped Miggy get to the next level, right, is worth 100 million. What's Miggy now worth?
Miggy, I said earlier, Pete, Rich, sorry, I said earlier, is there a better performing winger in the Premier League than Miggy right now?
No.
I can't think of one.
Not with the goals he's scoring.
His work rate. We've always said about Miggy's work rate and how fantastic, it is, and we just wish he had that end product. Now he's adding the end product. If someone came in for Miggy tomorrow, and we what did we pay for him? 16 million rising to 20. How much was we want for Miggy Almiron now?
Double what we paid for him, and I think it was.
I think it's around 29. Yeah.
28. It's 28.
28.
Yeah, 28, nearly 29. But for me, there's still many years you can get out Miggy. Miggy at 28 is still running and pressing like he was 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't see it stopping from him.
No.
He's one of them that will be a Duracell battery that you'll see him at 34 years old pressing the way he did when he was 24. Like, he's that type of player. For me, what we paid 16 million for him with a view to rise up to 20, 21 million, something like that. For me, at 21 million, you could probably double it. At the highest end, you could double it.
Yeah.
But, I think at 30 million, you wouldn't argue that. You look at you look at some of the players that have gone for 30 million.
It's madness.
Musa Sissoko for one. Musa Sissoko for one.
Yeah.
There's many others that have gone from other teams at 30 million that have not been worth it. Yannick Bolasie, I'll throw one out there. Yannick Bolasie from Crystal Palace was okay. Weren't great. I think Everton signed him for 30 million.
But Palace, Pete, now, Palace I say now, probably be a bit less now, but in the past couple of years, Palace wouldn't entertain anything less than 70 million for Zaha.
Yeah. There you go.
And what's Miggy? Is Miggy on 6 now? 6 goals? Is that 11 Premier League games?
Yeah, or 12. Well, 12.
12? Are we on 12 or 11?
Yeah, we're at 12 games now, I think.
12. Yeah.
12 Premier League games.
Here you go.
12 Premier League games. So Miggy's scored in 1 and 2 as things stand. Yeah.
Not so bad.
Not so bad at all.
Chris, did you give us your rating? For
No,
Miggy?
I didn't give you the rating. Very easy, 10. And I think I'm the first one to say it. Man of the match. It's so easy giving Miggy man of the match these days.
Me too.
He's just he's performed outstandingly. All the lads have kind of said it already for me, but yeah, doesn't stop working. Love to see that smile. Fully deserved his goal. Man of the match performance.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. Let's go to J7. For me, I'm giving Joe Linton. There's the early chance that he kind of fluffed, but he's getting back, tracking back, and playing in the front three, and then going push it back into midfield as well. I'm going to give him an 8.75 for Joe Linton, and I'm going to go to you next, Chris.
9.5 for me. I thought Joe played fantastically well. What I'd like to highlight or bring up is the fact that Joe was playing in his untraditional left wing position at the start of the game. Yeah. And look at the difference in him. Like when he was playing, a year ago in that left wing position, everyone was going, "Oh bloody hell, Joe!" Didn't really understand the role very well. I thought he slotted in great today, and then not only that, Joe Willett comes off and Murphy comes on. Murphy goes into the left wing position, and Joe settles back into that central position, which he's been more used to recently, and he's still given 110%. I thought Joe was everywhere today. Very unlucky with the penalty shout, as you said, Pete, with Emerson Royale's arm out. Joe gives everything to this team, and Eddie Howe was kind of. I think it speaks volumes as well. Eddie Howe was kind of indicating that Joe wouldn't be available for this game. And it wouldn't surprise me if Joe wasn't 100% and he still put out a performance like that. I think when Joe Linton's missing from this 11, we miss him a lot. So yeah, 9.5 for me. I'll put him up there with Longstaff and Bruno in terms of performance today, especially playing two different positions and bossing it in both.
Yeah,
So Chris, Pete, I'm just going to refer back to something you said there during the week, and you had said, and I think that the delay is kicking in for me now as well, so I might start talking over you. I apologize in advance, but Pete, you said that you wouldn't be surprised that you thought Eddie Howe took off Joe Linton because he was in danger of getting sent off in the last game, and that you wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have an injury at that point, and he got to play today. But yeah, sorry. Yeah. He
didn't show any weakness of his injury, but it says to me that he was purely taken off for purposes of the fact that he was worried about him getting sent off because he looked like he didn't have a great game. But the one thing I said from the review was he needed to, if he played on Sunday, show that he's worthy of playing in this team because the team are playing so well at the moment. And he went back and proved exactly why he deserves to be in the team. He was absolutely fantastic. And I've had messages from Tottenham fans, Arsenal fans saying how good Joe Linton is. I think other teams are really starting to appreciate how good he is. He's a bully. He's a workhorse. He's not afraid of anybody. He'll get stuck in. He'll put his foot in. And he just left everything on the pitch today. He was fantastic. On the left-hand side, no problem. Could we have had someone that ran at the defenders a little bit more? Yes, but he played the system to play the type of football that we wanted to play. So he was there to hold up the ball and create and continue possession. That was what he was there for. He did his job absolutely perfectly. But even when he slotted into that centre midfield, combative, won everything. Didn't even give up a 50-50 from a second ball or even a third ball. Just top level. So yeah, 9.5 for me. Brilliant.
9.5. Just 7. Richie, have you fed the hedgehog? And what's your score for?
No, I wasn't feeding the hedgehog. I was just top me drink up. No, I'll give him a 10. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I said, Pete just touched on it there, and we actually discussed it on the Away Days show about Joe Linton. Eddie Howe isn't going to turn around and say in a press conference that Joe Linton was lucky to stay on the pitch and had a bad game. We said that. We said he's lucky. There was a slight little knock on that for that what could have been the sending off, but he's protecting these players. He's saying if people go out and implement the game plan every single week and play it, he isn't gonna there's loads of managers out there you can name load who would have just turned around and said, "Do you know what? Yeah, I think he had a good game. I thought I brought him off." He didn't. He has his backs to his player, and he went out there and he said, "Look, no, he had a slight knock. He covered up and said that he had a bad game, and that's good because you're not giving a negative twist on something. It gave him the chance to turn around and say, right, I know you've had a bad game there. Come back out on Saturday and deliver all you can." And that's exactly what he did when he was on the left, when he dropped back into the middle. I can't remember who it was. I've just put the comment when he chased back Benton Kerr in the second half. That tackle, that just goes to show the desire that's not just on him, but every single one of the teammates throughout the team. Absolutely phenomenal. Has to have a 10.
No, good job. Let's go to the last player for the ratings tonight. Let's go to Wilson. He got the goal that he's been craving for so long. He took it well, and we discussed it in the match rewind even. But yeah, 9 for me for Wilson. Pete.
9.9 for Wilson. Fully deserved, in my opinion. The guy proved today what it takes to be a striker going away from home against a top team like Spurs and dominating the centre backs. He was unbelievable. Hold up play, the link play, winning flick-ons, chasing, pressing. He had everything. You could tell he was managing within himself, and we talked about it on previous shows. He is playing within himself at the moment because we haven't got Isak, and there is a worry about him getting injured. He is playing at 90%. He's not playing at his full capacity. He's not running at his full capacity. But I tell you what, he had them on strings today. They did not know what to do with him whatsoever. Luke, absolutely spot on.
Thank you, Luke.
Hit that subscribe button, Luke. Come and join us weekly.
Excellent.
Get your comments in the chat. Great to have you. I know Simon and Lisa have just commented as well. Great to have you, and thank you for your donation to the channel. Honestly, Callum Wilson showed today why he is above anybody else as that backup to Harry Kane. And actually, you know what? He outperformed Harry Kane, in my opinion. He outperformed him on the pitch today. He was brilliant. I love how professional he is. I love the way he talks to the camera and in his interviews. He just talks like an elite level professional. And he just knows what it takes. A young lad that came from Coventry, of all places, that is not a high-profile place in the country, but built himself up to be this elite striker, and he just plays the game so well. He's not gifted in all areas. He's not a dribbler. He's not skillful. He's not, cutting in here and there and everywhere, but he plays his role so well, and he's such a disruption for centre-backs. He played that position. There's nobody else I can think could played that game any better. He was outstanding today. 9.9 for me. Miggy with his goal and the way he played is just picked him slightly, but outperformed Harry Kane did Callum Wilson, fully deserved.
Cool. Richie?
I'll raise it to a 10. I just thought we mentioned it today. Wilson likes to run in the channels and be and mess about with the centre half. He doesn't like to, just be, like we said about Chris Wood. He'll dominate one of the defenders or he'll be man marked. Wilson likes to make those runs. What really surprised me, and I know Chris mentioned it earlier on when we were talking about the goal, was the fact that you watch him when he has those sprints, and you think you go hamstrings, and the amount of times when there's a couple of times in that halfway that the pace that got him away from the defendant, it was like it was just taking him away from it, and then all of a sudden I think the problem with why everyone's so nervous really is the fact that it's his acceleration straight away that gets it. It gets him in it, but it's how he automatically slows down as well, and that probably doesn't help with his hamstrings so much because obviously he's building up the speed there, but then he starts to slow down when he catches up with the ball. So that, but I just thought he was absolutely phenomenal. The way he was in between those defenders, he didn't give any of them a rest constantly. What could you say for the finish? There's not many people on that pitch could have done that today. It was just a delicate, lovely little chip, inch perfection, as we said at the start. Fully deserved. He's been working like a workhorse recently. Hasn't been getting the end product with the goals. Other people around him have been getting it. He's been more of a supporting cast, but he deserved it. So he gets a 10 from me.
Chris, before we go to Pete with some breaking news.
10. 10 for Callum Wilson. For Callum Wilson was superb. When he's not in the team, you see the difference. Pete, we were speaking about this a few weeks ago. Alexander Isak's going to be breathing down his neck, but at the moment, it's Callum Wilson's shirt all day long. He's a absolutely sublime striker. And Gareth Southgate was in the stands today, and he's got to be looking at that and thinking, like you rightly say, he's got to be second in command to Harry Kane. What I loved as well, and I'm sure you all noticed it, as soon as that first goal went in, when Wilson scored, he's going like that. And he's saying to everyone, just calm down. Basically doing another Kevin Trippier. We've got a leader up the top now.
Calm down.
But
No,
But
I was just about to say to you, Chris, who else on the pitch would have said that after a goal goes in, and you've just said it? Spot on.
Yeah. Leader from the front. And yeah, he's just a fantastic striker. I still can't believe it. He cost 20 million. It's ridiculous. Silly money.
Chris, speaking of a leader from the front, let's go to Pete with that breaking news.
No, Pete, just before you mentioned it, I mentioned before that about if Carlsberg did weekends. This is just took it to the next level.
It has, and I apologise for anyone of our 230 plus viewers that don't agree with this. But yeah, it's just been confirmed that, not football related, Boris Johnson has pulled out of the Tory leadership race. I, for one, am extremely happy with that. Some may not be. We're not a political channel, but yeah, it is just something that's important to this country. And the reason why I say it is we've had some fantastic donations like Luke tonight, and we really, really appreciate it. But we understand as a channel that this is a very delicate time in this country, and that people haven't got the money with energy prices and various other things to be able to commit and donate to the channels and various other things. And, you know, we are looking at this country to be in a better position and move forward to help the working class people like ourselves, as for on the channel, so many in the chat tonight. So yeah, great news for us, in my opinion only, can only talk for myself, and hopefully this country gets up and running very, very soon. But that's the political side out of the way. Just thought I'd put my little 2 pence in. I'm sure people will agree with that. Some people may not, and I respect that. Not everyone has the same opinion as us, just like football. This is what it is. So yeah.
Sorry, Pete. I led you down that path, but I think it's one of these all around. So let's move on. That's it from the ratings. You know what? We must mention the sponsors, and we must take some questions as well that may have popped up. Richie, let's go questions first.
Questions, right? Let's have a look. I want to give it. Obviously, we mentioned them briefly on Friday night, but just wanted to say. Big up to Solo and Chris Dawson, who became members over the weekend. You know what? We always appreciate anyone that decides to join as a member. Obviously, you can subscribe to the channel for free, as we mentioned at the start. But obviously, yeah, you do. If you become a member, you know, you're supporting the channel, helping us, you know, get this great content out. But also, you do get the benefit of getting into the member draws, you know, during each month. So we'll have another one of those lined up soon. As we mentioned, and I know Pete mentioned it a couple of times during the week, once we get to 100 members, there will be a special member draw there for that as well. So, you know, I'll look forward to that when it comes up.
Some fantastic member prizes being lined up as well, Rich, worth saying.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, well, I don't need to. You just done it, mate. But, right, David Jonkins, what he wanted to mention up first of all, that Bruno's commitment, he wanted to be with the team 2 days without sleep, as we mentioned. Hands down for that as well. Stu Brown wanted to turn around and he wanted to mention about what was our opinion on the biased commentary towards Spurs, Pete?
Shocking. Like I said, we talked about it. Like earlier on in the show. The commentary and the punditry opinions from the likes of Jamie Redknapp were shocking. Really, really good. She's back.
Hey, Summer.
You got your sign, Summer. You got your sign.
You got your sign.
Summer.
Sign.
Get your sign.
I want to go and get it.
It was great to have. It was great to have Les Ferdinand, Sir Les, back in Newcastle United. He could have quite easily sided with Spurs. He didn't. He was right down the middle and backed Newcastle on Sky when was needed. But the commentary on there, you know, to be fair, Jamie Carragher did back us with regards to the penalty, and he even tweeted it out afterwards. He agreed. Sorry, not the penalty. The Callum Wilson goal. And he agreed that it wasn't a foul. It was a Callum Wilson goal. But you can tell at times that the commentary is siding very much to what they consider as the bigger team, and it just frustrates the life out of me, to the point where I have to just ignore it, because I'd just be like just throwing things at the TV. And I'm not prepared to lose my TV at this moment in time, so I don't try and like get too kind of drawn into it. But like, boys, what do you think about the commentary today? Did you agree? Did you agree that it was one-sided?
In stages, yeah, I thought a lot of it. I'd say about 8% at the time. It was. There was the odd little bit that came through saying that you know, Newcastle are a different side now. they're going to be a hard team to keep up. But it unfortunately got to the stage where it was, as the game was coming to an end and it looked like we were going to hang on, it wasn't at the start. I think like it was because, oh, look, do you know what? They've come to one of the so-called Big Six and they've done a job on them. And it's only because we did the job on them that we started getting the recognition that we all think we should deserve to get anyway. But obviously, as we know, the national media have got an agenda against Newcastle for obvious reasons, and they don't like us seeing us successful. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with going forward, unfortunately. But as far as I'm concerned, they can stick it where the sun doesn't shine.
Nice one. Thanks, Summer, for your promotion of the show, as always.
Always.
Click that button, guys. Click that button, guys.
Summer, I think that means your dad owes you a nice present for that.
I know she said that last show as well.
Yeah, well,
we're probably up to about 20 quid now.
That's 2 presents.
Yeah. So that means we're not going to see Chris on for the rest of the month, the lads.
Yeah. Right, let's go to the next question, Richie.
John Elvington, he's put a good one up here. Do you think that NUFC will qualify for Europe now that we're fourth? Chris, I'll go with you with that one.
I'd like to think we can. If we carry on playing the way we're playing, it's a possibility. I think even if we get in the top 6 this season, it's a massive achievement. So for me, I don't see why not. But obviously, John, it's early days, 12 games in. If we carry on performing the way we're performing, we've got every chance. Even just to be in the mix, even just to be in the conversation is a fantastic achievement. So if we carry on the way we are, why not? But yeah, 12 games in, so I'm gonna keep my powder dry for now because we're not even a third of the way through the season. But the signs are promising, is what I'll say.
Okay, Daz, this one's for you from Simon. Do you think you look like Tyrone? No, sorry, mate. You're serious. Paul Gallad, he wants to know how many players do you think that Newcastle will sign in January? He reckons 3.
Well, I think I always said that they probably won't go big. We've already bought in the lad from Australia, and I think I want us to sign Santos from Vasco da Gama in Brazil. How many players? It might depend. If there's an outside chance, we could push towards out those Champions League spots. We might bring in 2, but I'm expecting maybe 1 or 2. Not. I don't think 3.
No, well, Pete, I'll take this one to you because obviously we did the Howe handover when Eddie Howe came in at the start of after the consultant took over. And David R wants to know is the big question: how did none of the other top clubs snap up Sir Eddie when he was out of work for so long? And where do you think we would be if Rafa was in charge with the same squad?
I'll answer the Rafa question first. Rafa wouldn't have had us as high as this. He'd have had us probably mid-table right now. And would we have argued that at this point in the season? Probably not. Rafa Benitez would have been loved and adored by the fans as he was when he was first here, and rightly so. But the reason why top clubs didn't snap up Eddie Howe is because in his last job he got Bournemouth relegated, and unfortunately with top clubs they eradicate all the good work you've done before and just see the relegation, just like so many other opposition fans have. And even some Newcastle fans had when we first signed him. So I, for one, and this is a channel, bigged him up. We put out the video and we promoted everything about what Eddie Howe represented. I've talked about him for 18 months now at least, about how good he is as a manager. But nobody could see past relegation. Nobody could see that Eddie Howe's squad had outgrown itself. Players got too old. Players lost form because they were coming towards the end of their careers. He had a very aging squad. Nobody saw that. They just saw relegated Bournemouth there. That was it. Now, what Eddie Howe achieved at Bournemouth was unbelievable for a club of their size. He's even said they should have been a League One club. They made it to the Premier League and stayed 5 years. Unbelievable. All he needed was then a platform to the next level. At some point, you need to move on in order to progress your career. You can't just stay at a team like Bournemouth and expect to get European football, Champions League. It's not realistic. He needs to then progress at another level. That's what he's doing right now at Newcastle United. He could have gone to Celtic. It wasn't right for him. Newcastle United was right for him. And the reason why we love him so much is because he's done the business. He's done the job, right, even before he had the money to spend at Newcastle. Nobody can argue that. He changed the way Newcastle was as a team. He changed the way we played as a football team, our mentality, even before January came about. And what he's then gone and done, which no pundit, no media person can argue with, is he's gone and bought the right players in every position. I don't think you can maybe argue Chris Wood, but every single player he signed is the right player for the right fee at the right time. You can't argue that. And for that reason now, he's now being put in there as one of those top managers. But we saw it a long time ago. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by him as a manager. I'm not surprised by what he's achieving. He is now proven, which was a question in January, by the way, could he attract the top players? The top players will be looking at Eddie Howe thinking, wow, look at what he's done with Joe Linton, Fabian Schär, Bruno Guimaraes, Alexander Isak, Callum Wilson, Kieran Trippier, and thinking, I trust him. I can play under him. And what he's done, he's completely flipped his career on its head, because now he's seen as one of the top managers in the Premier League and one of the managers that actually, if we go in January and you ask Daz the question, I think we'll get at least one big signing and one loan signing. But those two signings will be big players, top level players, and they'll want to come and play for Eddie Howe.
Follow-up question to Pete there. How do you feel, and I'm only taking a guess here, about taking his job in Football Manager?
Look, I've got to be honest. I'm enjoying it right now. I wish I had it on this. I could have shared it on the screen where I am right now. As it is in real life, Eddie Howe's top 4 mags. Need I say anyone?
Nice one.
Richie. Chris, yeah, go with you, Chris. Tough Jimmy Watt, and he says, hi lads, massive winter day. Do you think Newcastle owners will be thinking about pushing for the top 4 in January now?
Yeah, it's a great question from Jimmy. I think the plan's always been we've had the big overhaul. The way I see it, I think we've had the big overhaul, and now every transfer window, I think we're going to make 1 or 2 top quality signings. The need for a right winger may be pushed down the list slightly because of Miggy's form. I still think we need another right winger, and I think we'll be looking now to kind of improve the players who are on the bench. So we'll be looking at the likes of Jacob Murphy, looking at the likes of Ryan Fraser, looking at the likes of some of the defenders. I think this is now going to be a gradual build. I think this team that we've got has probably made the owners sit up and think, wow, look what Eddie can do with these lads. Imagine with 2, 3, 4, 5 extra quality players. I'd love to see Jimmy in the next 2 or 3 transfer windows. I don't think you're going to see another 4, 5, 6, 7 players coming in the transfer window now. I think it's just going to be a gradual process. I think there'll be a lot of youngsters coming in. We've talked about the young lad from Australia, Gran Qual. He's now coming. I think you're going to see a lot of youngsters coming in who have got the potential, and in 3 or 4 years are going to be top players. So yeah, I think it'll be 1 or 2 players every window, and it's only going to make us even better. Trying to think what the main priority position would be. I still think in central midfield, if we try and go for the James Maddison, possibly a Moussa Diaby right wing, possibly another striker to replace Chris Wood. I think that's where we're going to be looking at, but it will have to be the right player and it'll have to be the right price. But I think every window now, 1 or 2, and if we're in and amongst where we are now, I think they could speed up the process and bring in another top player in. Because if you add another Callum Wilson to this squad, if you add another Bruno Guimaraes to this squad, it makes us even stronger, strength and depth wise.
Yeah.
Can I just add to all of you as a question? Obviously, the question has been about who do you think sort of will we'll go for it if we're chasing the top four or even Europe in January and sign some players. But if that's the case, we've already got a full 25-man squad. Who do you think is going to leave in January to accommodate that?
There's loads you could pick there. You could the likes of Richie. You could pick Dummett, who haven't gone anywhere near the team. There's Lewis, who could go out and loan. Thanks, Summer.
She's now sellotaped it. A little arm must have got tired. Well done,
thanks, Summer. Well done.
30 quid, Summer. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's got a bloody pin. You have to sellotape. Yeah. I don't know if Kamara will be happy with that. Yeah. I'll go on, just do it. It's fine.
Right, Daz, question for you. And it's from John Askew. Obviously, we've touched on it briefly that we've got 3 games until the World Cup break. We've got 2 at home against Aston Villa and Chelsea. And in between that, we've got an away visit to Southampton. He says 6 points in the next 3 games would be great. Or would it?
I'm saying 7. I want wins against Southampton, against Villa and Southampton, and I want a draw against Chelsea. Why not? The Chelsea are going to be most of their players probably be turning up at the World Cup, so they'll be focused on that. They don't want to get injured right before the World Cup. So and
she's buzzing here. Sorry, Dad. Sorry.
But yeah, so why not? I think we take a game by game. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. But at home against Aston Villa, we want to be winning that. We want to send them home sobbing, and we Southampton. Why not get an away win there? There's no reason why we can't. Then roll the dice against Chelsea, and you never know. We said the same thing about Spurs. So why not give it a go? So yeah, if we 7.
The one thing I will add to that though, Daz, the Chelsea game. It is a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday. So you know what that means? Newcastle under the lights because it'll be dark. But you know what those nights are like.
Saturday evenings as well.
Yeah.
Jordy's been on the drink all day.
I feel a Sam Fender song coming on.
Well, yeah, here's a question for you. Would you now you've just said that, Rich? Do you think there's a better chance of us beating Chelsea at home than there is Southampton away?
I'll put it out there. I think we'll get maximum points from the next 3, if I'm honest with you.
Mate, it's on then if we do. It's on then.
Go in the league if we do that.
And before you join us, as I turn around and said to Pete and Daz in the green room before the show, that'll put us on 30 points good at the World Cup game, right, after 15 games. And you're still going to have some Newcastle fans going, well, there's only 10 points for guaranteed safety.
Yeah.
Daz.
Not me. No, not me. No.
Right, just want to finish on Daz before we obviously sponsor. The reason why is because it's from one of our sponsors.
Yes.
He's saying that Miggy, Player of the Month and How Manager of the Month. I completely agree with you, and I'm sure the rest of the lads will all back that up. Miggy and How for Player and Manager of the Month. Yeah,
absolutely.
Fab Shaw says it the same. It's all everyone all think the same. Absolutely. Daz, over to you for this sponsors, mate.
Yes, we've left people waiting long enough. Everyone has been waiting for the sponsor shout-outs. So a former sponsor, Simon First and shybarnes.com. And if you'd like to go and look at what Simon has on offer, go check out shybarnes.com. Lovely t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and everything. And as well as that, there is the loaded t-shirts in a variety of different colors. There's the away days version that Pete is always modeling on away days. I love the consistency there, Pete. Always have it on for away days. And even though it was a bit of a struggle, I said this week with 3 away days in a week, but yeah. Then we have the other loaded t-shirt that's available in a variety of different colors as well. The shout out to, and there'll be more coming from Simon pretty soon in the loaded range. So keep your tuned for that. So shout out as well to Pins and Prints and the range that Pins and Prints have got going, and also then on to Machine House. What Marty has available in the shape of t-shirts and lovely t-shirts and hoodies. And more hoodies. Yeah, check that out. Check out the latest from Martin and Machine House. And a shout out as well to the Geordie Royce And the t-shirts that Dean has available there, I know there's white ones and there's black ones there, and they're a lovely range of t-shirts as well. And as we said before, maybe I'll put it on the bottom here as well. There is a code you can use as well if you're ever wanting to purchase anything from. What are you laughing at, Chris?
I'm laughing at a comment about. I'm going to put it on.
That was you. Oh God. And a shout out to our newest sponsor, and it is, and you know what, Chris, for that, you are going to jail. Yes, it is the Radiator Shed. And shout out to Russ, who's in the chat, and there you go, theradiatorshed.com. Make sure you check out what is available from Russ there. And I give the big story last week on Russ. I'm not going to read it out again tonight. Because check out what Russ has to offer in this shape of lovely radiators. This is the Fitzroy, this is the Hampstead, and we're going to go through the website shortly as well. Not tonight, but we will on another show, and we get Russ on the show as well to tell us a bit more about the radiator.
He did put in our private chat, 'cause we actually mentioned it about when we saw this picture, how class it would be if you had some black radiators to go to black and white, and he did get back to saying they do coloured radiators, so you can get black and white.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Knock out all the radiators in your house tonight and get on to Russ, and he'll sort you out. He'll be ran off his feet.
One as well. I'm gutted, guys. In fact, I might be able to show you now. Oh no, either way. I got. Oh no, it's the wrong way.
Well, see, I think that's not you. That's not you showing competitors' work. There is it?
Yeah, it is. It's before I knew rusted radiators. I got the vertical radiator. If I'd have known, I'd have gone for the vertical radiator with Russ.
I know
that's not going to save you now, Pete. I can tell you, Russ is not going to let you come to this party in April now, where he's setting the venue up, mate. He's not going to let you in now.
I'm sorry, Russ. You haven't got a choice. I'm going to be there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm sure Russ has something similar like that in his range. Because because I have the website open here actually, but there's loads of different varieties and more than radiators as well. So go check that all out. That's the we'll put it up again and put Chris back in jail. TheRadiatorShed.com. So check that out. That is it from the sponsors. As we said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video on your way out if you haven't done so already. Make sure you, if you'd like to, you could. God, look at you did, Pete. It lasted a week. If you'd like to become a member, as some people have done, it's $1.99 a month. And yeah, you go into the member prize draws. That is it for the night. No, we have to say what's coming next. Newcastle turn. Oh, I like that. Nice one.
I like that,
nice good there, Chris.
Yeah. Write that one down, Russ. Right. Let me see what's coming up next. There's potential for a show tomorrow. And
confirmed.
We have confirmed. There's a show tomorrow. What time?
7:30. Talking between. Jordan has agreed to come back on to just review the last three games and talk about the fantastic win. He's just leaving the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium right now, so but he's messaged me during the show. Well, not right now, but like whenever we started the show, he messaged me.
Okay.
I didn't see it straight away. But Jordan will be joining us to review everything Newcastle United related over the last week, and maybe talk about what's to come. We've talked about what we think is going to happen over the next 2 or 3 games. We'll get Jordan's opinion. So 7:30 tomorrow. If you can make it, that'd be a good chat.
Nice. So think of your questions for Jordan for tomorrow's show. Then on Tuesday, I believe we're going to be back with a loaded cube as well on Tuesday. So if you'd like to come on and join us, more than welcome. We also love the regulars and new people to join us as well. Always welcome. Then it's going to be in away days this week as well. Not sure what day yet, but keep an eye out. Confirmed.
just as we're on, it'll be 8 o'clock on Friday. Rich Sutherland, who lives in Newcastle but is a Villa fan, will be joining us again. He can only make Friday 8 o'clock, but we've had him on all of our previous away days, and he's really looking forward to coming on and talking all things Newcastle Villa. Obviously, he's very excited after their win today, but so are we. So it'll make for a really, really good chat. And obviously, he knows the lowdown about Newcastle because he lives in the city. So again, don't miss that one, Friday 8 o'clock.
And I wonder, will they have a new manager by then? And that'll be talk of the show. So that will be one to keep an eye out for that. Also, then we'll have a reaction show come the weekend on the Villa game, and let's hope it's all smiling faces again. So keep an eye out for that. That is it, lads. That's it for the show. Chris, I know you wanted to get out by 9 o'clock, so we did that on time for you. So thanks everyone for watching. We will leave it there, I think. Eddie. How.
How.